Hello, Michael Kelly, reading from Damsels and the Dark Arts, latest in the Damsels series. An account of a terrible little crime. Bartholomew Quagga, a woodworker with the New Lurk Construction and Funeral Company, woke up and blinked his bleary eyes. Only the palest glimmer of starlight shone through the window of his little shack, so he knew it must still be the middle of the night. He sighed in contentment. He still had a few hours' sleep till he must get up and begin his day's work. Before he could doze off again, however, the urgency in his nethers reminded him of why he'd woken up. He groaned and reached his arm down, fumbling under his rickety bed for his piss pot. But as soon as he moved, a sour fart told him in no uncertain terms that a wee alone just wouldn't cut the mustard. Drat. Bartholomew lit his stub of a candle and staggered out of bed. Scratching his arse and yawning, he shuffled across the floor and yanked the door open, shivering in the cold night air. Just a few yards away stood the tumble-down outdoor privy he shared with 6 other shacks. He huffed urgently towards it, reminding himself that just a month earlier he would never have imagined himself living in such luxury. He had been just another unwashed denizen of the tent village. Now he had a shack of his own and a loo he only had to share with 6 other households. And next month he'd been told they were to get new roofs, made of slate tiles instead of leaky planks. That orc who was running the city budget now sure knew how to allocate money and get things done. Bartholomew sat down on the seat and gripped his toes. Yes, this lavvy had a seat, nicely shaped to accommodate his buttocks, not just a hole in a plank. He cleared his throat and began to dump, trying to hold his breath because he'd been eating sprouts and they smelled even worse going out than they tasted going in. The luxury of his new living conditions quickly lulled the tired woodworker back to sleep, and he began snoring as he sat on the loo, slumped with his left shoulder leaning against the wall, his unwiped bottom slowly crusting and open to the air, promising future piles if he wasn't careful. The chill air blowing under the privy door woke him half an hour later. Yawning and shivering, he wiped his arse and pulled down his nightshirt, stumbling and yawning his way back to bed. It wasn't until he woke to begin his shift the following morning that poor Bartholomew Quagga discovered that while he had dozed in the outhouse, his penis had been painlessly and expertly removed, the wound neatly stitched shut, with a little tube inserted for him to pee through. The neatness and painlessness of the operation didn't stop him passing out when he noticed it, though. Isn't that terrible? Who'd write something like that?